The U.S. economy continues to show signs of relative strength as the number of Americans filing for unemployment aid fell for the third week in a row. New jobless claims dropped.
Hello, today I present to you an extremely attractive application for music lovers. It's completely free. You can listen to music online or download unlimited music to use whenever you don't have internet. The powerful search function helps you find anything you want. Trust me. It's hard not to find what you're looking for because the search function is really powerful. Application download link is attached in the description of the video. I'm pretty sure you'll like it. Thanks.
Up to 375,000 for the first week of August. That is down 12,000 from the week before. The latest numbers show how layoffs are decreasing, but economists remain concerned over how the rising COVID-19 cases could impact the country's recovery. I want to bring in Axios markets reporter Courtenay Brown with more. Courtenay, welcome. While the decrease in unemployment claims seems positive, why does there seem to be a disconnect between people who cannot seem to find jobs and employers who are struggling to find workers?
The unemployment claims figure that came out this morning was certainly good news. The number of new people filing for unemployment hit a fresh pandemic era low. But you're right, economists are still concerned. We learned earlier this week that in June there were 10 million open positions, highest number of open positions in U.S. history. And there were only about 7 million workers hired that month. I mean, that's a massive disconnect between, jobs and industries that need workers and where people actually want to be employed.
Well, the number of insured unemployment claims also fell to the lowest level since mid-March of 2020. Could this number be impacted after the pandemic unemployment assistance ends on September 6th?
Well, in about half of states across the country, the extra unemployment benefits, the extra $300 that people who didn't have a job were getting per week, they've already ended those. And, this is the number one question when I talk to economists, like what effect around the country are we seeing from those unemployment benefits drying up? And the answer so far is not much. In states where the unemployment benefits have expired early, governors have decided to expire them early. There has been little to no effect on the labor market there.
Interesting. Well, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki reported that the Federal Reserve still sees the high inflation rate as transitory. What statistics, Courtenay, actually back that up, and when can we expect the price of consumer goods to go back down?
Yeah, so it's been a big week for economic data. We also learned this week that inflation did continue to rise last month, but actually at a slower pace than it had been rising in previous months. What that means is that prices are still going up, but they're not going up as rapidly as they were earlier this year. And the Federal Reserve and the White House even maintains that these price spikes that we're seeing are only temporary. The big question, though, is how long is temporary? Is temporary a few more months? Is temporary till this time next year? It's really unclear. What we did see in the data that came out this week, though, was that the pressure points in the economy, airlines, cars, prices for those things started to fall a little bit, but prices in other areas of the economy started to rise as well. So what we're seeing is the inflation perhaps is spreading from like where there are true bottlenecks in the U.S. economy to just other things that are unaffected by the supply and demand issues that we've had.
Well, let's talk about housing prices, because across the country, they continue to skyrocket. The National Association of Realtors says the median single-family existing home sales price rose to nearly 23% since 2020. So how long do economists expect this to continue?
That's the big question. I think what we've seen in the housing market over the past year is unlike what economists have seen over the course of their careers. There was a mad dash for new homes. People wanted to move from where they were to new homes, and there was a lot of demand, but there isn't a lot of housing stock, so there's not a lot of supply. And so that dynamic drove up housing prices to levels that are, unattainable for most people. And not helping the fact was, if you wanted to build a new home, well, lumber prices skyrocketed, and that helped drive up the cost of building a new home as well.
All right, finally, Courtney, I want to ask you about a story that certainly got my attention. What is behind the rise in coffee prices around the world?
Yes, this is also a story that's near and dear to my heart. I have several cups of coffee a day, kind of powers our newsroom here at Axios. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of the same. It's a little bit of the same story. So it's the fact that there are supply bottlenecks. The global supply chain has been absolutely wrecked by the pandemic. And, one of the largest exporters of coffee beans is Brazil. And Brazil is facing a historic cold snap, which makes it more difficult for them to grow the coffee beans that they need. And on top of that, it's difficult to get the coffee beans in the first place. Our ports are so backed up because there's been just so much demand for goods and the ports can't keep up with it. So coffee shops are having to raise prices to kind of account for some of those difficulties.
Yeah, I mean, it really underscores just how tenuous at times that global supply chain really can be. Courtenay Brown for us. Courtney, good to have you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.